guys, the game is starting. Flash Blysk against Charred Fury. It's going to be Cloud Kingdom. And here we go. Let's jump into that game and introduce our players.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Singapore Challenge. We have ZVZ Best of 3, ZVP Best of 3 here. Between two of our local heroes, the Red Zerg spawning in the bottom left location, we have Charred Fury. And his opponent spawning in the top right position, ladies and gentlemen, as the blue Protoss, we have Flash Blysk.
All right. Well, again, guys, I do not actually know anything about these guys. So we're just going to go ahead and freestyle this. Not a lot of information, but, you know, some of these Singaporeans have made a good impression so far.
Yeah.
You know, for anyone who didn't see it, Yeke, the guy who got second place in WCS, the World Championship Series Singapore, to Revenant, who ended up winning the whole thing, actually took a game off Xenio. And they had 3 long, close games.
Yeah.
And he could have won that series. He ended up losing, but everyone was pretty impressed. And even Xenio said he was surprised. He didn't think that this player was going to have that type of skill. So hopefully we see some pretty good, skilled moves from these two.
But it was really good of Xenio as well, if you think about it, because all 3 games went quite long. So he never went, oh, I think I'm going to walk over this guy and kill him off quickly. If he attempted that approach, Yeke might have just won the series straight up. So good respect being given from Xenio as well, and that was absolutely tense. And hopefully we'll see a couple more really good players pop out of the woodwork as the tournament goes on.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. You know, I think at this point, Yeke is... he has a reasonable chance at actually getting into the group stage.
I think so,
I'd like to see him play some more for sure. I'm actually wondering why Revenant isn't down here. I'm a little bit confused by that, to be honest.
No, that's a good point.
Because he is their champion, and he was a very famous Warcraft 3 player from the area. So a little bit weird. I'm not sure exactly why. I must have something going on.
Picking off the probe there at the natural, managing to get the pylon down, but deciding against it in the end and canceling it almost straight away. Actually, he might have been able to hold that up for a couple of seconds more, but I think he just wanted to get his forge down really quickly, and he needed the minerals
Definitely. Back. If you 9 scout and you make your Nexus first, and you offensive pylon, they're going to have a very good chance of getting a couple lings in your base, up to maybe even 4. So you don't want to interrupt your build too much. You really got to choose between, you know, the different options here. Do you keep that pylon down and try to delay hatches, in which case you might have to get your cannon down super quick. Yeah. Your Nexus may be delayed, your gateway may be delayed, and all these things are kind of gross.
Well, it's a little bit of a calculated risk there, because a lot of Protosses leave the pylon up at the natural, and they need the pylon there because they need something for the lings to chew on so they don't go straight across the map. Otherwise, they just get into your base.
If they go straight across that map, then you might be in some trouble.
Exactly.
So it's, you know, with the Overlord over there, they can make that choice.
Precisely. It's not the easiest decision in the world to make, especially if you want to be like harassing with the pylon and the probe early on and stuff. But losing that probe almost immediately kind of sucked there for Blysk a little bit. He would have liked to duck back in, confirm that a 3rd hatch is going down and no interesting like roach rush shenanigans are happening or something like that. But as it stands, it looks like we're going into a fairly normal game.
Yeah, everything looks actually 100% normal right now. I mean, we have the Cybernetics core coming up, the 2 gas is already out, so this is as much as you can see for now. In fact, that's a really quick +1, so not something that's different or strange, just to point out that's a quick +1, so he should be using that very early on. And as far as our Zerg player goes, now this is a little bit different. That's a really quick gas. That first geyser, really, really fast here. Wonder what he's going to do with it.
Yeah, that is, I mean, we typically see the first gases come out of Zerg at something like just after 6 minutes?
Yeah, about 6:15 normally, or if you're one of those 3 gassers, it might be a little bit later, up to even as late as 6:35 to 6:45. So
interesting.
Yeah, that's like a really quick early gas. Now we've seen a few people getting earlier gases lately to get, for instance, Sen at the Blizzard World Championships this past weekend against Protoss. A lot was getting double gas in the 5-something minute range to get out quick speed, as well as a couple of evolution chambers for Zergling play.
Sure.
Could we be seeing something like that? I don't know. Maybe. Could be.
Well, we're going to be going up to a second gas here at the moment, coming out from Fury. Another round of drones completing. We've got a robotics facility in the meantime from Blysk now behind the mineral line. Overlord almost directly overhead, so Fury will be able to see that the timing on that perfectly. Plus, what about 2/3 of the way done now? Nothing too drastic. Fury still on his half of the map, just droning up as hard as he possibly can. Another 8 on the way.
Now, this is a little bit weird, what Flash Blysk is doing here, because that Robo coming out and the +1 almost finishing here, the timing of these gateways, nothing here lines up completely unless he's going Warp Prism first. And he's I mean, maybe he can go for it after the Observer and still make this build kind of work out. Maybe he's going for a really quick +1 armor as well. It's hard to say right now, but the speed of that +1 attack, okay, there's the +1 armor right after. So he might be lining something up with that, or the build order could possibly be inefficient.
Well, we'll see. I mean, his +1 armor is going to finish about 130 seconds from now. So, and you're right. I mean, the gateways are finishing in like 10 or 20 seconds. So if he's waiting for +1 armor, there's basically a minute and a half of downtime in that build.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what he's actually ending up going for. And like you said, it could actually just end up being a little bit inefficient. Zella getting caught out in the middle of the map there too, those Zerglings, and Fury has established map control here on Cloud Kingdom.
Yep. We do have an Immortal being chrono boosted out. Now, this could just be an expansion. Oh, no, he's adding gateways. So it looks like he wants to do some sort of Immortal push here. You know, this is... The problem with it is that it's a little bit slow. Like, for instance, when I was talking about inefficiencies, if he's... Okay, no, he is going to go for the expand then, right? Because he's adding gates, but also the way he's building his pylons out here, he must be. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Now that makes a lot more sense than going for an attack here. Because I was going to say, he had 1 Immortal when parting normally has 3. And while I don't expect you to have as quick a build as partings, you can't be that far behind.
Yeah, that's well, the difference between 1 Immortal and 3 is absolutely massive, as a couple of Lings do get into the main base there, attempting to pick off a couple of probes. 5 workers killed, actually, so far, going up to 6 now, so that's a decent little push in from Fury here against Blysk, doing a fair amount of damage. The worker supply is now 74 to 50, so Fury is sitting pretty here, and he's got an Overseer popping in just to check exactly what's going on. He knows that the 3rd is down, of course, so just wants to see if there's maybe a really quick robotics bay going down or something like that, and the Overseer and Changing do successfully scout the entire base, sees a couple more gateways, but nothing too much out of the ordinary.
Nothing is Lings didn't tell him already, at least.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a Warp Prism on the way, as well as that Twilight Council. For our Zerg player, you know, he did get those early gases, so it's kind of starting to pay off at this point a little bit. Still has a lot banked, so I don't know if that was 100% the best gas timing for him, but you know, he's getting that pretty quick pathogen gland, so he's going to be able to spend all that banked gas, at least on infestors coming up. And he already has Burrow, so that's kind of neat. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly why he wanted Burrow this quickly.
Ooh, that's...
oh, I like that.
I wonder if he's going to expand to the top left as well. But the thing is, we see a lot of Zergs like push out through the middle of the map, and when they push out, they double expand at opposite ends of the map and say, well, look, if you're going to kill one, the other one's still going to be mining. But right now, we don't have Fury pushing out through the middle of the map, and the Warp Prism is about to spot this space as well.
Is it?
Yes, he does. He sees it. Yeah, he sees
well, that's good. That's really going to help him out, and of course, he's going to be able to force cancel that just so quickly. I do want to point out also, our wonderful observer in Fez, you can follow him on Twitter at INFEZA, pointing out just how good this Overlord spread is. Warp Prisms are not going to get into his base. Absolutely not going to happen. He has great Overlord spreads. He has great map vision. He basically knows exactly what's going on here.
No, that's a great point. In fact, he just lost the watchtower that was closer to Blysk, and that's like the one bit of the map that isn't in Blysk space that he can't see. So tremendous stuff coming out of here from Fury, and a fungal growth and a couple of infested Terrans will take the Warp Prism down. There we go, and the Zealots will eventually get cleaned up as well. And if the infested Terrans don't do the job, about a umpteen billion roaches might. But okay, never mind. They don't seem to care very much, man.
No, they don't care.
Honey badger roaches.
All right.
Just walk straight on by.
Yeah. All right, so we do have some really nice attack upgrades coming out right now. +2 attack almost done for Flash Blysk. And he's got Blink, you know, he's got his robotics bay. and he's got another War Prism. So he's pretty much got everything going on. And with his 3 bases up for this long and Shard Fury not quite being able to secure a 4th,
yeah,
even though he's up by supply a little bit, this is not a good situation for him.
It's going to be frustrating with the amount of production that we're going to see out of Fury in a little bit. We've got the 4th base coming up now, although the War Prism might have something to say about that. We'll see. Ooh, we have a little bit of engagement here at Blysk's 3rd, but the Lings do get away okay. So 4th base and a macro hatch coming out from Fury. He's going to have a lot of larvae to play with, and Blysk is kind of distracted by this small bunch of Lings right now. I mean, his army looks pretty scary at the moment, but the longer he spends just chasing these Lings around the map, the longer Fury's going to have to get prepared.
Well, you know, I'm getting a bit nervous for Blysk because he's been 3 base versus 3 base for a while, but you were exactly right. He's chasing like little groups of Lings around the map. He needs to actually go in and put on some pressure because the Hive is already done here for Fury. So he needs to not allow Fury to have Broodlords plus 4 bases at this point in the game. Yeah,
that's going to be really tough to deal with. I mean, I guess one thing I would say is that Fury's creep spread hasn't exactly been everywhere, but then again, he doesn't. Ooh, very nice engagement there. The force field's actually working against Blysk a little bit. Those units at the back completely trapping the Stalkers at the front end by those fungals. And it would have been nice to see maybe one extra fungal there, but that was definitely a huge engagement for our Zerg player.
Yeah, that was so good for Fury. And now his Greater Spire halfway done. To have the Greater Spire finishing up and attack during that timing as Protoss and then lose the attack, that's like a book on exactly how to lose a game. I mean, that is the one timing where you should be doing all right with your attack. But he's in a lot of trouble now, man. And, ooh, that was a sneaky little play. Not quite going to work. But, yeah, that's bad for Blysk. Blysk is trying to take this 4th base, but he doesn't have the tech he needs to fight off Broodlords.
It's going to be very difficult indeed. He does actually start, I mean, Zealot Charge is about halfway done. So he's trying to hold his own on the ground there while attempting to fight them off. But we have Corruptors on the way. A bunch of Zealots going to be hitting the 4th base of Fury there. And some Lings simultaneously going into the natural. So things happening all over the map. I think this hatch is going to survive. Yes, it is. And the Stargate is coming down from Blysk, but I mean, the Broodlords, presumably if Fury goes for them right now, they're going to be out way before any sizable number of air units can pop out.
Yeah, and in fact, I think he's going straight up to Mothership because
I think
you don't really want to make Void Rays.
He needs to rush his way there, man.
Yeah, he's going to have to align his Chronos perfectly and stuff, but still, it's going to be hard. He has to utilize, you know, the mobility of his army and walk around, maybe go over, finish that hatch off. That would be something very important. And Fury's just kind of buying time right now. He wanted to lose supply, so he sent those there.
Templar Archives coming down now for Blysk as well. So
he's getting ready for Mothership. He knows he needs the Templar as well for Archons.
Yeah.
But he needs to throw down that fleet beacon first. That's actually going to take him a lot longer to get that.
Mothership takes ages, exactly. So it's that's really going to lay him a fair bit here. Focusing down the Nexus, actually, while the Stalkers blink on top of the Roaches and kill a sizable number of them off there. So a small victory there for Blysk. Not sure it's necessarily going to be enough at this stage. He is, though, continuing to move straight in. I'm not 100% sure about this because those Infestors have a decent amount of energy. Fungal Growth's going down and no shields on basically all of those Stalkers. So the remaining ones that blink under the Broodlords are going to die pretty quickly. They're getting a healthy number underneath, though. Those Infestors should still have enough energy for a fungal or two. He's not using them, though, and the Broodlords are going down here. I'm surprised.
Yeah, you know, he barely ended up killing those off. But that was good for Blysk. And in the meantime, he killed off the hatchery. This is exactly what he needed to do. Oh my God, look at this. A ton of hatcheries being made. But if he forces cancels on these, there is no way that Fury is ever going to be able to spend all that money.
What on Earth. Okay, so we have mass hatchery strategy coming out here from Fury. But I have to say, in that last engagement, those Infestors had 2 fungals worth of energy at the end there. 2 extra fungals would have killed pretty much all of those Stalkers before they could blink under the Broodlords.
Well, you know,
that was a huge difference,
It's not just that. It's the fact that the macro mechanics of our Zerg player are a little bit off. You know, he hasn't had a huge bunch of larvae at any point, and he has over 3K minerals. I mean, you just throw in a group of Lings into that battle and he wins it straight up. You know, he's not macroing as well as he should be at this point. So the game is getting harder and harder for him because he's still sitting on 3 base, whereas our Protoss player, 4 bases.
Oh, and he's got a decent amount of energy on his queens as well. So you're right, Artosis. Just needs to be on top of those injects to get those larvae to use. You can be at 3k minerals and it won't matter if you haven't got the larvae to turn into lings, so you can't even like rush a 200 round of them at your opponent at this point. So that's what he's going to be struggling with. But that was a crucial victory, though, for Blysk, because had he not won that engagement, I don't think he would have felt comfortable, because he was being squeezed back to his third base quite a lot.
He truly was. Well, we do have a big warp in here as the Zerg army does approach. The mothership is finally on the way, and that's really important for Blysk, because we could see Broodlords once again. But here we go, an engagement going down. Those Corruptors being pretty useful right now against the Colossi, but I don't think he has enough roaches to actually end up winning this battle.
Oh, and the number of Stalkers is just too great here, isn't it? I mean, the force fields are doing a half-decent job. Yes, okay, all the Colossi are going down, but the roaches have evaporated. Good War Prism Zealot play here into the natural expansion, trying to tax the multitasking ability of Fury here, and Blysk once again is ahead now by effectively 30 supply and counting. These Zealots, not in the best position, but they weren't dealt with effectively, and they killed off a decent amount there.
Yeah, this is... it's kind of rough, man. Fury is having such a hard time. Oh, God, if he loses that hatchery again, this is going to just be fatal, man. Burrows all those drones. That's not what he needs to do right now, though. He needs to save this hatchery, and it looks like he will. That's good. He needs... I cannot even begin to describe with all my words how badly he needs that fourth base right now.
Well, one thing I do want to say that's good for Fury right now, Artosis, is that I think he recognized, hang on a second, I've got 3k minerals and I don't have enough larvae. Obviously, my macro's not quite up to scratch. Hence, the crazy number of hatcheries you saw on the bottom of the base. He went, wait, I need to rectify this problem immediately. My injects haven't been the best, and they're not about to instantly change to be the best, so I'm going to put down as many hatcheries as I can and rectify the problem there. And he has actually done an effective job of that, because had he not done that earlier, Blisk's early push might have even just won in the game.
Yeah, it may have, but at this point, he doesn't have the money to actually support all those hatches, so they're useless at this point. And in fact, this big group of roaches going down.
No.
I feel like Blysk is going to just finish this game off pretty soon, man. I mean, sure, he's got that base finally, but Blysk continues onwards with all of his harassment and, in fact, chasing him home.
And there are 4 Zealots
well played,
as well. Yeah,
coming out.
That base was about to go down too, so very well done there. And Blysk takes the game.
Yeah. All right. So it's a pretty strong victory right there. Does come back. He had a couple moments where it was a little bit scary. You know, when that Greater Spire was halfway done, and he went for his little push and he lost a huge chunk of his army, I thought, wow, you know, Fury might just take him out. But Fury didn't macro quite enough, because when that Broodlord attack came, he could have easily had another 10, 15 roaches easily. But unfortunately, he just didn't have that in that battle, and I feel like that was the tipping point in Blysk's favor.